He's done his time, earned the comparisons with two icons. Will Neymar realize his ambition to become the greatest player on the planet? Ryan Giggs is a Manchester United legend who set a standard so high, no one will get close to his achievements at Old Trafford. He is regarded as the greatest striker in Premier League history. Frenchman Thierry Henry changed English football forever. And Jurgen Klinsmann's appetite for scoring, particularly on the world's biggest stage, made him a German legend. Four of world football's greats. This is the Immortals. His apprenticeship had been incredible, but on a crazy night in Barcelona, Neymar decided it was time to take over the crown. It was the night the torch was passed. The 2017 round of 16 Champions League matchup between Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain will go down in history for a number of reasons. Most notable, it was the night Neymar became an all-time great. After losing 4-0 in Paris in the first leg, Barcelona faced a near-impossible task at Camp Nou to stay alive. But Neymar had different ideas. In the greatest comeback in football history, it was Neymar, not Lionel Messi, who orchestrated the magic. The 25-year-old went on to score 2 goals and assist on another in just 7 minutes to turn the tie in Barcelona's favor. Messi, the multiple World Player of the Year, could only stand in awe as his once understudy seamlessly became his master in front of his own eyes. Thanks to Neymar's inspiration, Barcelona rallied to win 6-1 and progressed through on aggregate to the quarter-finals. This can only happen once in a lifetime. Nobody thought we could score 6, and we did. Neymar's dramatic snatch and grab for the throne of the greatest player wasn't totally unexpected. It had been on the radar for many who'd watched the Santos product evolve into the game's most dynamic striker and marketable athlete at Barcelona over the previous 4 years. In 2015, Neymar finished 3rd behind Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in the Ballon d'Or voting.
I don't know if I'm at the same level as them, because they're 2 of my idols, and when you consider someone an idol, it's hard to see yourself better, equal, or worse. I admire both of them a lot. Since I was a child, I have watched them playing, and to be here sharing the stage with them is a great honor.
Since making his debut at the age of 17 for Brazilian club Santos, Neymar has had to live with comparisons to the great Pelé, given it was also his former club. While Neymar dismisses direct comparisons to the player many believe to be the greatest in history, Pelé recognized something special in Neymar Jr. early in his career. Even before Neymar made the move to Barcelona on a reported €57 million transfer fee in 2013, the Brazilian legend anointed him as football's next king. Now everyone is talking about Messi. He is a star. But to be the best ever, he must first become better than Neymar. Still to come on the Immortals, how Neymar followed in an icon's footsteps. In just his 3rd season as a professional footballer and at the age of 19, Neymar was named the South American Footballer of the Year. Within 4 years, he was captain of his country. He credits the influence of his father, who was also a professional footballer, as the reason for his stunning rise to stardom.
Where does my inspiration come from? As I said before, my father always told me to give my best in training sessions since I was a child, and also that I had to get better each day. I always listened to what my father said and always believed in it.
After scoring on debut for Brazil as an 18-year-old, Neymar's coming of age arrived at the 2013 Confederations Cup, where he was awarded the Golden Ball for Player of the Tournament. He was then seen as his country's savior as they searched for their 6th World Cup in 2014 on their home soil. Neymar lived up to his part of the bargain until tragedy struck in the quarter-final against Colombia, where he was kneed in the back and had to be stretchered off the field. Scans revealed he suffered a fractured vertebra in the incident, and without their star, Brazil was humiliated 7-1 in the semi-final against Germany. A proud football nation was in shock.
It was difficult for me, not for losing the World Cup. Losing is part of football. One day you win, one day you lose. Someone will be leaving defeated. But it was hard to overcome the reason of not playing that semi-final. To be leaving injured the game before. That was the saddest part for me.
He would get redemption 2 years later at the Rio Olympics. Neymar opened the scoring in the final against Germany from a free kick at the 27-minute mark. At the end of regulation, the score was 1-1, with the gold medal decided in a penalty shootout, which Brazil won 5-4, with the captain striking the winning penalty.
For me, it's a source of immense pride to have been part of the history of Brazil. We had been looking for a long time to achieve that.
Neymar has revived football's faith in the legend of Brazil with his electrifying interpretation of what his forefather Pelé called the beautiful game. His magic comes from mesmerizing skills, incredible ball control, and explosive pace, which has left defenders around the world perplexed. Neymar has already surpassed 200 goals at club level and more than 50 for his country.
Look, there are no doubts about his technical quality. He is a fantastic player, with a different quality of everything that we have seen before, who has a great ability to improvise on the pitch. He is very fast, very skillful, of course, and with no doubt, he is one of the biggest football players in the world today.
His combination with Messi and Luis Suarez at Barcelona was regarded as the best front three in world football at the time. They were the cornerstone of Barca's famous treble in 2015, where they captured the La Liga title, Copa del Rey, and Champions League. A key member of that team was midfield genius Xavi, who knows what lies ahead for Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. Neymar is so good that when Messi stops, he will be his replacement. He will be the best player in the world, I have no doubt. Just a month after Neymar's 19th birthday, he signed an 11-year deal with footwear giant Nike. It will go down as one of the more shrewd investments, given Neymar is now one of the most marketable athletes on the planet. That puts him on the same pedestal as NBA legend Michael Jordan, who was a big Neymar fan.
He's a true Jordan-esque type of athlete. You know, he's very creative, he's got his own style. The people, he resonates with the consumers and with the fans. To me, that's a plus. And anytime we can do anything with him, it's a plus for us, not just Nike, but Jordan Brand as well.
In August 2017, Neymar shocked world football with a €222 million transfer to Paris Saint-Germain at €30 million annually after tax. He also collects more than €17 million a year from endorsements, thanks to sponsorship deals with Nike, Qatar National Bank, Gillette, and Red Bull. Up next on the Immortals, Ryan Giggs and his extraordinary longevity at the biggest club in the world. To sustain a level of excellence that still makes you relevant after 2 decades is something very special. Ryan Giggs was that and more. Ryan Giggs joined Manchester United on his 14th birthday in 1987. He retired 27 years later, the most decorated British player in history, after an extraordinary 1,027 appearances, 963 of those with Manchester United. Giggs remained at Old Trafford for his entire career and even stayed on as assistant manager until he finally severed ties in 2016. He was the rock of one of the biggest teams in world football, and incredibly was still playing at the age of 40.
I don't really see myself as 14, I just see myself as a football player in a team, and I've always said I'm lucky because I'm playing with good players. Of course, you've got to keep yourself fit, no, I'm enjoying it more than ever.
The game has never seen anything like the longevity of the graceful midfielder who made his United senior debut at the age of 17. Giggs became the flag bearer for manager Alex Ferguson's famous class of '92. Instead of going to the transfer market, Ferguson invested in a group of youngsters from the club's academy, and they all ended up being superstars. David Beckham, Nicky Butt, Gary and Phil Neville, Paul Scholes, and Giggs. Of all that bunch, he was the one they looked up to. He was the king, the man. The trophies flowed quickly, while the Welsh-born Giggs profile soared, with the teenager becoming the face of the new Premier League. He was a marketer's dream. His classical playing style, combined with an exquisite left foot, saw him capture the public's attention, who dubbed him Boy Wonder. Even former United greats like George Best were caught up in Giggs mania. One day they might even say, I was another Ryan Giggs. The milestones and records started to stack up as United went through a golden era, with Ferguson and Giggs leading the way. They collected an incredible 9 league titles and 4 FA Cups during that run, with Giggs replacing Gary Neville as captain as they sought a 5th against Chelsea in 2007.
Yeah, well, of course, with Gary not being available, then Ryan will be captain, and I think that does complete a remarkable season for the lad. 9 championships, and the contribution he's made to us is an amazing thing. He just seems to carry on in a fantastic course of looking after himself, and his fitness is amazing. So hopefully he's a very successful day on Saturday.
Unfortunately, they lost 1-0 on that day and surprisingly never got another chance during Giggs' reign. The only missing piece to the Giggs puzzle is on the international stage, given Wales didn't qualify for any major tournaments throughout his career. He played 64 times for Wales, but also got the chance to represent Great Britain, where he was captain of the team for the 2012 London Olympics. There was no slowing down as the finish line neared for Giggs, who made his 1,000th appearance in a sudden death Champions League game against Spanish giants Real Madrid in 2013.
Obviously proud of playing that many games. I think if you set out different goals at the beginning of your career, you want to get into the team, then you want to stay in the team, then you want to win things, and You never think that you're going to get to 1,000 games. So yeah, proud of what I've done.
In his final season, he was a playing assistant coach under David Moyes, and when the manager was sacked in 2014, Giggs took over on an interim basis. He remained as assistant manager under Louis van Gaal, but when he was replaced in 2016 by Jose Mourinho, the club's greatest player saw the writing on the wall. Giggs departed with a CV that will never be challenged. He is the only player in English history to play 900 games with a single club. Giggs is also the leading Premier League player on the all-time European Cup and Champions League appearance list, coming in 5th with 145. His 632 Premier League appearances are the most all-time, and he was the last active player to have appeared in every season of the competition, which started in 1992. The 2013-14 season was the first time in his career that he failed to register a Premier League goal, with his 109 goals in the English competition, the second all-time in United history. Giggs has won 34 trophies, which makes him the most decorated player in English football. His 13 Premier League titles means he alone has won more league titles than all but 3 English clubs: Manchester United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. He also won 2 Champions League titles, converting the winning penalty in United's shootout with Chelsea in the 2008 final. An extraordinary career for a player who defied logic, played at the highest level into his 5th decade, and made himself an immortal. He was revered at Barcelona, brought silverware to New York, but it's Arsenal where the legend of Thierry Henry lives forever. The Frenchman can lay claim to being the greatest striker to have played in the Premier League. Manchester United's Eric Cantona and his Arsenal teammate Dennis Bergkamp are in the conversation, but there was no one better in full flight than Henry. Arsene Wenger managed him as a teenager in Monaco before luring him to England in 1999. Henry came to define Wenger's Arsenal dynasty at its very best. When the North London club was invincible, going undefeated through the 2003-2004 Premier League season, the striker was impossible to stop. Henry changed English football. He revolutionized the way strikers were thought of in the Premier League. He didn't just sit inside the 6-yard box and put away crosses. The magic was spread far and wide. His intelligence and vision superior, with pace and ball control that was often jaw-dropping. Thierry Henry could get the ball in the middle of the park and score a goal that no one else in the world could score. Henry found the net 228 times in all competitions with Arsenal, the most in the club's history. The partnership with Wenger and Henry won 2 league titles and 3 FA Cups, with the striker runner-up in the FIFA World Player of the Year in 2003 and 2004.
He was, of course, an exceptional football player, but as well a combination of a modern player. And Thierry especially was a combination of huge, of course, physical talent, technical talent, but as well special intelligence. And he was one of the greatest players I ever seen, and I've seen a few good ones.
Henry was a member of France's 1998 World Cup triumph and the Euro 2000 victory, where he was man of the match in the final. He almost single-handedly won the 2003 Confederations Cup. Such was his domination of the tournament, while he was instrumental in getting his country back to the 2006 World Cup final. Henry holds the scoring record for France with 51 goals from 123 appearances, but retired from international football after a horror 2010 World Cup where the favorites were bundled out in the group stage. It was at Barcelona where Henry showed his versatility, playing more midfield in the historic treble of 2009. He moved to New York in 2010 and was the Major League Soccer's big-ticket item, surpassing David Beckham as the highest-paid player. Even while he was in the States, the love for Henry at Arsenal still gushed, with a statue of the striker erected outside Emirates Stadium in 2011.
I mean, first and foremost, I have to say something about the statue because I said it at the time, but I actually embraced it, obviously, but I thought it was a bit too much because if I didn't have great players around me to reach what I've reached at Arsenal, it wouldn't have been possible. So, you know, I just thought that the team should have been there, especially the Invincible side.
The deal with statues and football clubs is simple, and Thierry Henry ticked all the boxes. They're reserved only for immortals. When we return, the German who delivered when his country needed him most. Jurgen Klinsmann's scoring rate simply set him apart. He delivered time after time for club and country, which is why he's one of Germany's greatest players. Reputations are made or broken on the biggest stage. At the 1990 World Cup, West Germany was staring down the barrel in its round of 16 game against the Netherlands when Rudi Völler was sent off early in the match. It meant Jurgen Klinsmann was forced to play as a lone striker. What he did in that game set the tone for the rest of his career. He scored early in the second half to ensure they progressed, and then after victories over Czechoslovakia and England, West Germany played Argentina in the final. Klinsmann was the focal point of the game and had 2 Argentine players sent off for fouls against him, paving the way for his team's 1-0 victory with an 85th minute penalty. The victory avenged West Germany's loss to Diego Maradona's team 4 years earlier.
Germany-Argentina is a very special final because of the history, you know, with having met already in 2 previous World Cup finals, and I think in both finals, every time the better team really won. You know, in '86, you know, Argentina with Maradona had the better side, and in '90, when I had the pleasure to be part of that team, we were clearly the better team. You know, even if it was not such a nice final ending with a penalty kick, and it's only 1-0, but we were clearly the dominating team in that game.
Klinsmann thrived on the big stage, scoring in all 6 major tournaments he played in, from Euro 1988 to the 1998 World Cup. He was instrumental in the reunified Germany winning the 1996 European Championship, scoring 3 goals for the tournament. Everywhere he went, the striker had an impact, including at some of the world's biggest clubs: Inter Milan, Monaco, Tottenham, and Bayern Munich. Klinsmann's reputation for diving preceded his arrival in England's Premier League, but he found a novel way to win over the fans. After scoring on debut at White Hart Lane, the Germans celebrated with a dive, and he finished with 30 goals for Tottenham in his one and only season before the lure of his homeland struck.
At the age of nearly 31, I had to give serious consideration to my final career move. Amongst the numerous factors I had to consider, first of all, where I want to build up my life after my career as a football player. And secondly, I'd like to finish my career with the guarantee to play for a championship title. I've never won a national title, and there's not much time left for me.
Klinsmann fulfilled his wish, winning the UEFA Cup and Bundesliga title with Bayern Munich. He placed second in the Ballon d'Or as Europe's best in 1995 at the age of 31. and finished his career with an incredible ratio of 1 goal in every 2 games. Klinsmann immediately went into management after his playing days ended, with stints as Germany's head coach and at Bayern Munich, before leading the USA to the last 16 at the 2014 World Cup. At his peak, Klinsmann was one of the best strikers in the world throughout the 1990s and scored 47 goals in 108 games for his country. The regard in which he is held in Germany was highlighted when he became just the 5th player to be named an honorary captain of the national side. It was confirmation. Jurgen Klinsmann was an immortal of the world game.